Hi, my name is Andrew Hooton with Panacea Technologies, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the technical aspects of setting up product arrays. So I get a lot of questions about the product generator and questions about what does it mean to suppress the shift name on the root button? What does it mean to suppress the root? What does all that mean? Well, I'm going to show you. So let's talk a little bit about what an array is. Okay, so we have a list of products here, drinks that we want to put in our menu, and we have a variety of sizes. And there's more than one way to handle that in Pixelpoint. I can have a button that says coffee, and followed by a force question that then asks you what size that you want, and that works okay. But it becomes a little bit of a problem if you have several things that are small, medium, and large. And you want to go back later and see, well, how much coffee did I sell and how much tea? I can see that I sold in my Pixel reports that I sold 23 coffees and 50 teas. And I can see that I sold certain numbers of small, medium, and large, but I won't be able to tell how many small coffees versus how many small teas that I sold. That kind of setup is also a problem if I want to use Inventory Manager, because the word coffee has no association at all to small. So Pixelpoint won't know how much to deplete my inventory of coffee, tea, and soda and milk, because there's no association between the size and the item. So in order to get around that, you have to create several items in the database. One would say small coffee, one would say medium coffee, one would say large coffee, and then you could build the inventory recipes properly. Now, anytime you have an arrangement like this, we've got a list of ingredients and a list of qualifiers. The area in here is called your product array. Essentially, it's a grid, and they can be small like this one, or they can be extremely large. Now, the problem with having any kind of product array is that instead of just adding up these items and adding up these items to get the number of buttons you need to create, you have to multiply them. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 times 3 sizes. That's going to create 12 items. And when I've got 100 items and 5 different qualifiers, that creates 500 items. So the larger your array, you get a geometric progression, and your product array can get really, really big. Now, when Pixelpoint first came out with shift keys, initially dealers thought that was just great, and there was a lot of praise for it. But soon came the realization that you were creating these huge product arrays, and you were creating 500 items, whereas before you used to create 100. You can't charge the customer for that. They don't understand all the work that goes into it. So very quickly, a lot of dealers stopped using shift keys or only used them in a very minor sort of way in the system and don't get the full benefit of it. The fact of the matter is shift keys are one of Pixelpoint's most powerful and unique features. Very few, if any, other competitors have that feature, and it gives you a huge advantage in the market to be able to show the power of shift keys. And that's why the product generator is so useful to you. Let's take a little bit about look at the technical aspects of shift keys and how they actually work. Okay, so when shift keys first came out, I believe that we had a demo of how it should work. Essentially, we have 3 shift keys here: small, medium, large, and an item in the database called coffee. And we call the coffee a root product because this is the button that's going to go on the screen, whereas the small copy, medium copy, and large copy are only in the database. Those are arrayed items, and yes, they're in the database, but they are never buttons on the screen. So this is the root, and these are essentially what branches off of the root. Everything branches off of the root. Okay, so if the user hits small and copy, Pixelpoint calls up small copy out of the database and brings that up as a dollar item. If the customer orders or the user orders medium copy, same thing. Medium copy gets pulled out of the database, and so on. And this works just fine. One problem is that if the user mistakenly just hits the copy button, there's no size associated to it, there's no price associated to it, so it's just ringing up an item called coffee. And that brings everything to a halt while everyone scratches their heads and wonders, well, gee, what kind of coffee is that supposed to be? So to combat this, one of the other dealers, I don't remember which one, suggested that rather than just make plain old coffee the root item, we make, say, the small coffee. It could be the medium coffee, whatever, but you choose one, and make the small coffee the root item, and all the shift links are then linked into small coffee. So then if you just hit the coffee button, you're going to get small coffee. If I hit the shift link and small coffee, it will still pull up small coffee. If I hit medium and small coffee, it will pull up medium coffee. If I hit large small coffee, it will pull up large coffee for $3. So that works well. So if anybody just hits the coffee button, it's going to ring up something. Okay, so hopefully whatever the most common size is, that's what we want for our default size. Now, you may have noticed as I was describing this, it sounded a little bit confusing. What does it mean to hit medium small coffee? That's sort of confusing sounding. And in fact, when we first tried this setup, we got complaints from the customer. He said, my servers don't understand what it means to hit medium small. What is medium small? So to get around that, you just change the button to coffee. Now it's still, all the other aspects of it, it is still a small coffee. It's just the button that says coffee. So if I hit it, it's still going to say small coffee and pull that from the database. Okay, but if I hit medium coffee, now it's going to pull up medium coffee. If I hit large coffee, it's going to pull up medium coffee. And of course, if I hit small coffee, it's going to pull up small coffee. Now, you don't technically even need the small button on the screen, do you? But if you leave that off, that'll just confuse the users again. They'll see coffee, but they won't understand how to order a small one. So you can either hit small coffee to get small coffee, or you can just hit coffee, and that will ring up by default as a small coffee. So when you're looking at our product generator, suppress shift name on root button. Okay, that means, and we select small here. Okay, so small would then become the root product, the button that's going to go on the menu. But we want to suppress the word small on that root button, so it just says coffee. Suppressing the moot root, going back to here. Okay, so this word coffee in the original example would be the root product, but we don't want to create that product in our database. It's moot at this point because we're not going to use it. Now I left it in there because if I took it out, somebody's going to need it somewhere. But generally, you just want to suppress this button from ever being created. We don't want one that just says copy. So the checkbox suppress the moot root means that the plain old copy button is never created. Now going back to our product generator, create shift links. Okay, so when we create our array of drinks, we want the shift links, which are the links in the database that specify what each product links to. We want to create them. Now this is optional, so you may want to create an array of items that don't have any shift links. For example, you might have pizzas with various crust styles, and you might have 12 different pizzas and 4 different crust styles, and you need to create all of those items, and they're going to be on the menu. Don't want any links between them, but you just, since we're able to create arrays of items very easily, you can use the product generator to do that. So if you're creating that scenario, you just would not create the shift links. You just uncheck that. So that's all that those buttons are for. Now, I've heard some people ask me, the problem with shift keys is you only have 10 shift keys, shift 1 through shift 10. That's only partially true. You do only have 10 shift keys, but you have unlimited shift aliases or shift names. So shift 1 can be, like these 3 buttons, could be small, medium, large. They could also be no, light, and extra. As long as you don't have the aliases on the same page, as long as I don't have the no, light, on extra on the same page as the small, medium, and large, you won't run into any conflicts. So shift 1 can be used with an unlimited number of aliases and essentially giving you unlimited shift keys, and you can use them for any darn thing that you want. So let's take a look at the power of shift keys in your demos and while selling Pixel Point. Okay, so it helps to illustrate this a couple of different ways. And we've spent a lot of time explaining this in our demos. Why? I mean, it's a simple function on the face of it, but the fact is, as I mentioned, most competitors don't have this. Most users who have used any kind of POS will identify with what you're talking about. When they're looking at 4 different POS systems and spending 2 hours in each demo, most customers don't take notes. They don't follow everything that you're telling them. And at the end, they're just sort of left with a general feeling that, yeah, this was a good product or that was a good product, but I can't figure out which one is better, so I'm going to decide on price, which is not what you want to happen. Their decision process is really boiling down to one of two things when they're looking at 4 or more vendors. How can I eliminate some of these vendors? Or who's got a drop-dead feature I just have to have, I'm going to buy that one. So if you can show them a drop-dead feature that nobody else has, then you're going to be in the front runner, and you go, or at the very least, eliminating a large number of the competitors. So here we have a page of beverages with the shift keys on it, and as I described, if I just hit the pepper, I get a small Pepsi by mistake. Hit medium Pepsi, get a large Pepsi, and they all ring up accordingly. Now this is great on beverages because if I had actually curated a page with all of these beverages in all of their sizes, they wouldn't fit on one page. So I'd have to have 2 pages just to fit them. The screen would be a lot more visually cluttered. It'd be a lot harder to find things. There would be more mistakes in getting the wrong size and so forth. So this makes your screens a lot faster. Where the shift keys can really help, though, is with your modifiers. So let's order hummus here, and we'll look at a very simple modify screen. So the way we explain this is that you say that on very, very simple menus, like maybe a coffee store or something like this, we might set up a menu like this. These are not shift keys here. They're just adjectives, okay, essentially. So I can hit no bell peppers. I can hit like bell peppers. I can hit add bell peppers. And when we do this, we see there are some advantages and disadvantages. The big advantage is, again, this is very easy to set up. The number of items created in the database are equal to the number of items on the page. So there's no arrays going on or anything like that. And also very easy to maintain. One of the disadvantages is that no bell peppers is coming in on 2 lines. So you can use up a lot of paper. It's also a little bit harder to read than just one line saying no bell peppers. A little bit harder for the user to read saying no bell peppers, but the big thing is going to use up a lot of paper. Now, the way most competitors deal with this is they will create a separate page for each adjective that they want to use. So they'll have a page that says light, or a page that says add, or a page that says no. And what happens, and that works okay, so we can hit light cucumber and it brings them nicely on one line. But what happens in practice with all these different pages is a lot of jumping around from the users. And when the managers who are maintaining these menus work on them, they tend not to line everything up right from one page to the next. So I go to my add cucumber button and gee, where is it? So then I have to search around the page to find it, and this just stops the servers dead in their tracks looking around to find out where somebody put the add cucumber button, only at last to find that it's down there. So you get a lot of jumping around from page to page and inefficiencies and so forth. Now using shift keys. So now all my no, light, extra, add, and substitute buttons are shift keys. So now if I hit no cucumber, I get no cucumber, I get light cucumber, I get light cucumber, extra cucumber I can charge a price for, add cucumber I can charge a different price for, and you can actually have multiple cucumber prices for different things if you want it. So there's no jumping around. And if you do the math on this, you've got, 40 items times 6, that's 240 items that are represented on this page of what looks like 40 items, but I don't have to jump around to get to them. Everything is clear and visual. All the pricing is correct, and the users can fly through this and learn it very, very, very quickly. Now on this page, I set up the defaults for no. So if I just click almonds, it's going to ring in as no almonds. And we typically do that because on food, people are usually taking thing off. It comes with this, this, this. I don't want almonds, no almonds paste. And that's the most common one. Whereas the drink menu, if we use shift keys on that, the most common thing will be add, because people want to add things to drink. So yeah, add olives, add sugar, whatever they want to add to it. But you can do whatever you want with the product generator and set the default however you want to use it. So again, this is a drop-dead selling item. When they see this and you talk about the competitors and how the others start, have these separate pages, you see people start to nod and they're thinking, yeah, that's exactly how my other system worked. And then when they see all this, they're like, yes, I like that. That's perfect. That's the way my POS system should work. So this is why you want to use shift keys. You want to use the product generator, and you want to put this in your demos because it will help you to close sales.